Due to recent YouTube updates, comments and likes have become more important than ever. I beg you to please consider doing exactly that. I read every comment that you write me and answer whenever possible and or need. I'm also open to suggestions for future content. My videos are created without the use of AI, so please support your fellow human content creator against clanker slop. Thank you. The long walk, the highway to heaven, the golden road, sometimes even called stairwell to heaven, even though it only had a very, very slight tilt, was a seemingly endless road, a physical manifestation of the symbolism of the long road to redemption. It was a unique, almost between realm to heaven, where souls who were virtuous went on to cleanse the minor sins they committed in life. After all, saying damn or stealing $5 to Fort Candy as a child shouldn't be punished with eternal hellfire. The rule was simple. The longer the journey, the worse the things one did. And you had been on this road for what felt like a long time. A really long time. At least to you. It was peaceful, really. Beautiful clouds illuminated by an eternally setting sun, tinting them in a cozy orange. And the golden yellow brick road. Sometimes boring, sometimes exhausting, but it was a goal to achieve. And knowing you had eternity for it was the ultimate sigh of relief. Occasionally you met fellow travelers. One was dressed in a samurai armor. It was through him you learned that heaven had a sort of auto-translator. To him you spoke fluent feudal Japanese. To you, he was speaking English. Considering this man died dutifully on a battlefield, a truly honorable guy who had been here for so long on this road due to the lives he had taken in the name of his warrior's code, he understood why he was still on it, and he had accepted it. And you said goodbye to one another a few hours later. He was tired, and according to him, this little spot he was resting at right now was perfect and tranquil. He had never felt so at peace, so he wanted to go as slowly as he could. This was nice. And it was understandable, really. In life, you had been nothing much, a cashier, died doing a robbery gone wrong. Your life had been simple. Humble, even, though you did strive for social media clout that never manifested. Your own fear was that's why you earned this long road to heaven, through greedily trying to get fame to live a lazy life. At least, that was your best guess. In heaven, your body had taken on a new form too. Your body was much more dainty and slim, like you'd always wanted to be. If it hadn't been for the pills you had been taking your entire life, making you gain a whole bunch of pounds. Your hair was wonderfully golden yellow and straight for once. Oh, how you hated having to brush them daily to not look like you had woken up drunk in the streets. Your wings were a total of 3. 2 were pearly white, a third was black like a crow's. And they were always floating behind you just below the other 2. The wings also weren't attached to your body, rather they floated around your shoulders. Your halo was a yellow glowing circle with a fiery red eye at the center. Through experimentation, you had realized that it reflected your mood, narrowing when your main ones did, blinking with you. Specifically, it followed the exact movements of your right one. It had been the past roughly 12 hours when the scenery had begun to change. The sun that had been setting for so long had moved upwards. Quite quickly, a change you hadn't noticed until it shined right into your face. And once you could see forward again, in the distance, you spotted a massive metropolis. Shiny, silver and golden. The sight alone was so breathtaking you sped up. Not by much, but your naked feet started to pitter-patter. It was about a day of walking later when the golden gates to heaven came into view, and about another day when you could see a person standing behind a desk, the expression of utter boredom. And almost meekly, you approached. He was blond and had quite a tooth gap as he smiled. "Hello there. You're the first one I've met today. I was worried something was broken with heaven." Are you like St. Peter from the Bible?" With an awkward expression, the man stretched. Not even close. I'm Abel. Nice to meet you." You blinked a few times. Abel, as in the, His expression didn't change, but you could tell that you were overstepping a boundary. "You know, the one with the brother and the..." You made a stabbing motion with your right arm. His lips lowered, covering his teeth, and his brows slightly narrowed. A weird feeling overcame you, like meeting a celebrity, but you immediately screwed it up, and were now feeling melancholic. Almost defensively, you raised both hands. No, I get it. Probably, very touchy subject, and probably talk to you about to death with. Right? I mean, you're like famous? His smile turned toothy again, thankfully. You were surprisingly respectful about this. Abel leaned forward a little on the desk. His interest was piqued. Usually he had to go through the play-by-play of his own Bible story, which instantly made you endearing to him. "So, isn't St. Peter supposed to be here?" You asked, almost cautiously. "Busy with his girlfriend. They've been trying to figure things out, Her being an angel and him being an archangel and all that, it's, a little much. He took lessons from my dad, which was really awkward." You bit your lower lip and blushed at the implication. Hey, it's okay. We're all equal here. Trust me, when you see people from the Bible every day, they eventually just turn into another neighbor. Abel finally leaned back. "So, let's see." Abel pulled out a little yellow office slip. It was a checklist. "Okay, I'm supposed to ask you this country of origin, language of origin, exact date of birth, and lastly, your name." Of course, people died constantly. That's why he needed to know so much. With a slightly shaky voice, you answered. Okay. Not a lot of people from that country pop up here. Consider yourself lucky," he commented, a little too casually, as he opened a book that looked way too small, considering this seemed to be the book of every human ever born. But then, you noticed the text on the front. It was a date, the year you were born. So did they have a new book for every year? All right, there we go. Sweet! Yep, no mistake. You belong here. See, right here. That's your name. Wait, did mistakes happen in the past? Abel shrugged. Me modernized a couple centuries ago, so not anymore. As he said that, his eyes wandered over to your face and he smirked. I know that expression. You'd like to judge people too, huh? Used to be a really fun job. Yeah, it sounds fun. Yeah, but it's also a huge responsibility. Putting the stamp in the wrong place. You would condemn a person forever into hell. You'd effectively be the HR department of heaven. And no one likes HR. You opened your mouth to say something, and he immediately interjected. Don't worry. HR people automatically go to hell. A sigh of relief escaped you. Oh, and we also don't have lawyers up here. Any lawyer here is a heaven-born. I love it here already. Abel smiled brightly, but then suddenly he tilted his head. I have, one more question. On the last stretch up here, have you seen anyone? You shook your head. Okay, so I'm guessing it's just you today. Is that rare? To go to heaven? Abel took a deep inhale. I mean, sinners outnumbers the virtuous by about 100 to 1. Though that's just my personal rough estimate. Could be more, could be less, but don't worry. Heaven is heaven. The safest place on... He stopped talking for a moment. Earth? Yeah, this isn't Earth anymore. I don't know how to fix this sentence. For an almost awkward moment, you looked at each other, and then laughed. I like you, he hummed, excited. So, I never met someone who just arrived up here, so I'm super curious. He gestured a little exaggerated, like a complete goober. What do you think got you up here, if I may ask? Obviously, you didn't do anything outrageous, like kill someone, and you aren't addicted to any drugs, and why am I listing stuff that gets you into hell? Is it because I donated to charity? You stuttered. Yeah, no, charity is a scam. The church created it in the Middle Ages. It's a sham. Sure, about half of charities actually do the charity work they advertise, but too many people just donate to charity, not out of kindness, but just to say they did. It doesn't make them bad people, of course. Charity is charity, but it's so shallow, it doesn't affect the actual decision whether or not you get in. You nodded carefully, and then said, I mean, I didn't party. I don't like loud noises, you know. I stayed away from dating apps, so I never slept around, nor did I ever cheat on anyone. Come to think of it, I don't think I ever had a boyfriend, really. Oh, cheating is a huge thing up here. So that's a huge plus. You never cheat on anyone. Yeah, what else is there? And... oh... Your wings dropped and the light in your halo dimmed a little. Oh God, my mom, I took care of her. With a pained expression, Abel tilted his head. More than likely, that's the thing that got you here. And, sorry for you and her. Silence followed. Look, I'm sure you'll see her again. Right, but wouldn't seeing her again mean that... Abel realized he had just screwed up. He should have just shoot you inside and not asked that dumb question. The entry into heaven was supposed to be freeing, nice, jolly even. But you would now enter heaven thinking about your mother. And judging by your expression, you clearly hadn't thought about this since you got up here. Unshackling from earthly things was part of the journey here. And he probably just reset that by a couple of days. Hey, I really botched that, didn't I? You tried to smile, but it was weak. It's fine, I just... You know... I took care of her, and now I'm not. He leaned on the counter, hands folded. Yeah, I get that. The thing is, heaven's big. I mean, big. It's not one big cloud with a harp section. It's cities, fields, oceans. You know, half the time I get lost myself. He chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. That's, probably why they usually don't let me run this desk. I'm only subbing for Peter today. You blinked. Honestly, I just think they ran out of options. That earned a small laugh from you. The first one since you mentioned your mom. There we go. Now I feel better. He said softly, pointing at your smile. See, gatekeeping, you know, that's all about morale. You shook your head. You're not what I expected at all. Abel tilted his head. You expected a bearded guy in a toga, right? Something like that. Well, sorry to disappoint, he said, spreading his hands. I'm more of a wing and a smile type. You actually laughed this time, an honest one, and his eyes softened. He shouldn't have felt that little tuck in his chest, but he did, and perhaps that was the exact reason they didn't want him doing this job. He sighed dramatically. See, this is the problem, they tell me. Abel, you're too personable. You overshare too much. Use that conversation instead of closing the gates. But, how am I not supposed to talk to someone who just walked an eternity barefoot through celestial traffic? I mean, it's not a bad thing, you commented. Makes you feel human. Yeah, I guess, he said, smiling faintly, a little blush on his cheeks. That's what they say, right before sending me back to paperwork duty. You laughed again, and the sound hit him like sunlight. Hey, look. Leaning closer, elbows on the counter, voice lower now. You did good. The walk, the patience, the care you gave your mom, that's rare. You earned this. Don't let one bad thought dim the whole ending. You met his eyes, warm, steady, almost too understanding for someone divine, and something fluttered in your chest, small but undeniable. Thank you, you said quietly. Don't thank me, he said softly. I'm just the guy with the clipboard. How long was I on the road anyways? You asked finally. Date of death? July 2021, maybe? Oui. You missed about 4 years on the road. Your eyes widen with shock. That's fine. I think the current record is 1,000 years before reaching heaven. It was some Greek guy named Agamemnon. He flipped the page on his clipboard, pretending to check something. Anyways, 4 years. It's a pretty good time. Some people stop to nap for decades. You must have been eager. You shrugged. Guess I just didn't want to linger. That's a good instinct, he commented, glancing up with a slightly crooked smile. Not a lot of people make it here still glowing like this. Glowing? You asked curiously. Yeah, he gestured vaguely around your head. You've got that, whole warm aura thing going on with you. It's very, first sunrise after a long night. You raised a brow. Is that your kind of compliment? Hey, I'm a bit rusty, he said, admitting it, with a grin. Normally I just flirt with paperwork. You laughed, soft but genuine. It lingered in the air between you, and something about it tugged at him again. He leaned on the counter a little closer. So you walked 4 years through paradise and you're still blushing. Impressive stamina. That's not fair. You can't just say things like that. Sure I can. Temporary desk privileges. He purred, tapping the clipboard. Perks of being Adam's child, apparently. You rolled your eyes, but didn't look away, and that was enough encouragement for him. Seriously, though. It suits you. The night. The quiet confidence. You belong here. Stop saying that. You're just saying that to make me blush. You teased. Well, maybe, he admitted. Or maybe I'm trying to see how many smiles I can get before Peter comes back and, demotes me back to paperwork. You grinned despite yourself. You're surprisingly bad at being divine, you know that? Oh, I know. Every time I get one of these temp gigs, I say something dumb, catch feelings for a soul I'm supposed to wave through, and get them ordered back to Supply Records. Freudian slip. Uh-oh. You blinked. Catch feelings? His smirk twitched. It's hypothetical. Usually. Lingering sort of, what if, a level under a crush. Still professional, of course, but this lingering feeling that, okay, I can completely imagine this is how the next 10 years of our relationship would go, and why am I still talking? Oh my God. Your heart gave a small flutter, your halo flickering once like a skipping heartbeat. You leaned slightly closer over the desk. And? Is that what's happening now? Abel froze for half a second, and then smiled faintly. Oh my God, since when is flirting this easy for me? He muttered under his breath. Must be my father's genes. You tilted your head. What was that? Nothing, he said quickly, still grinning. But the grin lingered softer now, less teasing, more curious. Your own head tilted to the side, studying him. The way the light from the gate caught the edge of his jaw, the faint flicker of gold behind his eyes. There was a pause that wasn't empty, it was full. Full of things neither of you had said yet. And then it just happened. It was you who made the first move, leaning closer, and he followed suit. The counter between you felt smaller than it had a moment ago. Your hands brushed his, and that little spark was all it took, your lips meeting halfway. It started slow, like a question neither of you were sure how to answer. His lips pressed against yours lightly, uncertain, before deepening, just as a little test. You inhaled and he exhaled, the rhythm falling into place as naturally as breathing. The hum of the gates behind you blurred, soft and distant, while the warmth of his mouth grounded you in the now. When you moved, he followed. Your fingers curled around the edge of his robe, and his hand came to cradle your face. He wasn't forceful. He kissed you like someone terrified of breaking a miracle. A soft sound escaped him, half a sigh, half disbelief. He didn't meant to go this far, but now it was too late to pull back. The second kiss came easier, deeper, like the moment when two dance partners clasped their hands together during the perfect flourish, a moment where time didn't exist, just the weight of breath, the faint taste of something sweet, and the sound of your heartbeat somewhere between you. When Abel finally drew back for air, he stayed close enough that his fingers brushed yours. Neither of you spoke. You smiled first, voice low. You realize this probably breaks at least 5 heavenly protocols or something, right? He let out a breathless laugh. If I didn't, heaven wouldn't be heaven. You laughed too, soft and bright, and before he could stop himself, he kissed you again, quicker this time, almost to punctuate. It wasn't about passion now, it was more about reassurance, about connection, about the strange comfort of being seen by someone who shouldn't have looked at you that way but did anyway. When you finally parted again, his hand stayed against your cheek for a moment longer, thumb tracing the faint glow along your skin. I'm in so much trouble for this. He chuckled to himself and you smiled. Was it worth it? You purred. Abel grinned, that same uneven grin from before. Completely. A quiet moment passed, and then he cleared his throat. So, how about dinner? My treat. You pick the place. Somewhere, more private, less celestial. We could... Somewhere more private, less celestial. You know, you can ask me all about those ancient knowledge questions like, oh, how did food taste like back then? And trust me, it didn't taste as good as it is with sugar and processed stuff. You nodded, cheeks still warm. You know what? Yeah, I'd like that. He exhaled slowly, trying to play it cool, though the smile tugging at his lips completely betrayed him. He was such a goober. As you turned towards the golden light, he muttered under his breath, I really am my father's son, aren't I? Hey, you reached the end of the video. That makes you part of an exclusive club. Our secret password is Cheap Thrills. Put the secret message in your comment below to tell fellow members you watched the video until the very end. Lastly, before I say goodbye, I would normally shout out my channel members. However, due to losing monetization, I currently do not have access to both channel memberships as well as a list of previous channel members. Nevertheless, I'm eternally grateful to the channel members I used to have, and in the case memberships get reinstated, I hope I'll see you again. Thank you for watching.